here's my cheat sheet, and I did the first quadrant of the unit circle, and then the arc sine, arc cosine, arc tan, and arc cotangent domains and ranges. And I know there are two others, the arc secant and arc cosecant, but we don't see those as often. But these are the ones that are most popular, and we're going to use those as kind of a little cheat sheet. So let's just look at a couple of examples where you might be asked to evaluate, and that's all it's going to say. No calculator, and it'll just say evaluate the inverse trig function. And so you might see something like this: arc sine of negative square root of 2 over 2. So let's see if we remember what that actually means. So if I'm talking about arc sine of negative square root of 2 over 2, I'm really saying the sine of some angle is equal to negative square root of 2 over 2. So I go over to my unit circle, and I can see the positive here, right? And so I'm looking for the negative square root of 2 over 2. So where is the sign negative? And the sign is negative in the third quadrant and fourth quadrant. So now I need to determine what the value of the arc sine is, and I have to keep in mind right here the domain. Well, I'm talking arc sine, so the domain is within. Here's my domain, right? The domain is within negative 1 and 1. Now the range has to be the value, the output, the answer has to be between negative pi over 2 and pi over 2. So I know in the first quadrant it's pi over 4 when it's positive, and that has to be negative square root of 2 over 2. And so where is the arc sine negative square root of 2 over 2 and falls within the range? It's going to be at negative pi over 4. Okay, and I know because this is periodic, I've got, infinite number of answers, but I have to have that answer fall within the designated range. And so let's look at another one. How about arc sine, let's do cosine of negative 1/2. So again, what does that mean? That means the cosine of some angle equals negative 1/2. And now when I'm looking at cosine, arc cosine, I'm here, right? So I'm in the domain between negative 1 and 1, and my range has to be between 0 and pi. So negative 1/2, well, in the first quadrant, cosine of some angle equaling positive 1/2 is pi over 3, and so I want negative 1/2, and I know the cosine is negative in the second quadrant and the third quadrant, and between 0 and pi looks like my value would be, let's see, pi over 6, 2 pi over 6, 3 pi, 4 pi, 2 pi over 3. Okay, moving on. Here's an equation to solve. The arctan of the quantity 2x minus 3 is equal to pi over 4. So, just like any equation, I have to undo operations. So I want to first undo arctan. And how would I undo arctan? Well, what's the inverse of arctan? Inverse is going to be the tangent. So I am going to take the tangent of the whole equation. So I have the tangent of the arc tangent of 2x minus 3 equals the tangent of pi over 4. And so what happens when I take the tangent of the arc tangent? Well, these two operations undo each other. So I'm left on the left-hand side with 2x minus 3. And what's the tangent of pi over 4? Well, I go back to my notes, my unit circle. Tangent is sine over cosine, pi over 4. Same values for the y and the x. I get 1. Oh my gosh, look at that. What looked like an intimidating equation is now one of the simplest things to solve. Add 3, divide by 2. X is equal to 2. Isn't that cool? All right, let's try another. Tangent of arc cosine of 1/2. Alright, so we're going to go right back to our right triangle trig. This means we're going to work inside here. Arc cosine of 1/2. So let's think about the angle. Here's my angle, theta, whose cosine is equal to 1 over 2. Cosine in right triangle trig is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. So this must be the adjacent side. This must be the hypotenuse. So I'm actually saying, what's the tangent of this angle theta? Well, tangent is equal to opposite over adjacent. Right? Tom's old aunt. That's how I remember it. Tangent is equal to opposite over adjacent. So I need to figure out what the opposite side is. Well, good old Pythagoras. Here we go. Pythagorean Theorem. 1 squared plus b squared is equal to 4 squared. Oh, not 4 squared. Well, it's 4. Cross that out. My mind is thinking one step ahead. B squared is equal to 3. B must be equal to, and I only care about the positive here, square root of 3, because I'm talking about length of a triangle. So my question mark is now answered, square root of 3. So what's the tangent of that angle whose arc cosine is 1/2? The tangent is equal to square root of 3. So you're going to see problems like this where the 1/2 is algebraic, it's an algebraic expression, and you're going to have to rely on the good old triangle trig. So you're going to have to know your tangent is equal to opposite over adjacent. Tom's old aunt sat on her chair and hollered. That's how I remembered it. Okay? Alright, I think I'm done for now. We'll do some problems tomorrow, and again, little review before we get into the calculus of inverse trigs. Trig. Alright, see you tomorrow.